panel discussion. You can find more details about Dr. Yewande Awe on the website. So joining me is as a climate expert. We have climate experts here and we have digital transformation experts. So joining me as another climate expert is Abimbola Abikoye. Abimbola Abikoye is the founder of Revamp Rave Network Initiative and coordinator for the Climate College Hub, currently training 200 young advocates from across the world's 6 continents and the Kadara Waste Reduction Project. Abimbola is a social impact analyst. She's a copywriter and an early ocean career professional. She has worked as an environmental justice research policy consultant with Heinrich Böll Stiftung, a coordinator for the establishment of the Youth Climate Innovation Hub by the Department of Climate Change. She's a youth advisor to the EU in Nigeria on digital and green economy. Welcome, Abimbola, to this panel discussion.
Thank you so much.
Very good, very good. So I'm going to really start with you, Yewande. We've listened. I just read your amazing profile, and there's lots in your bio for other people to look at. And so I would like to know, what is the linkage between the work that you do as an environmental engineer and climate change? You'll have to unmute Yewande. Dr. Yewande Awe. Just a backstory quickly. Dr. Yewande Awe and Tosin and I went to the same secondary school. So we have been doing life together for the past 42 years. Dr. Yewande Awe was my chief bridesmaid. So these are 2 sisters that are part of my sister tribe. I always say every girl needs a sister tribe. So it's so good to have Dr. Yewande Awe, Tosin, and myself in this panel discussion from Queen's College, Lagos, Nigeria. Our college has brought up leaders that are making changes in different communities where they reside. So Dr. Yewande Awe, it's good to be on this side interviewing you, not as a friend, but as a professional. So answer my question, please.
Okay. Thank you very much, Winifred, for that warm introduction. Thank you so much to WITI and all the organizers of this session. It's good to be on the same panel with Winifred and with Tosin. Perhaps by the end of this, we will have some people who will fall in love with our secondary school, high school in Nigeria. So to go swiftly to the point. So I am an environmental engineer, as Winifred said. I work at the World Bank, and I should preface what I'm about to say with just the caveat that I'm not here to contribute official positions of the World Bank. I'm here in my professional capacity, and I happen to work in the World Bank. The World Bank is an organization that is part of the larger World Bank group. And the World Bank works with governments of developing countries to help them to solve their development issues. Our mission really is to help to reduce poverty and to boost shared prosperity. So when we say boosting shared prosperity, we want the dividends of prosperity to be more equitably shared in society. So we work with developing countries, and we're concerned with the problems that affect poor people and helping the governments of those countries to be able to address those problems in sustainable ways. So today, the lens through which I will be contributing to this discussion is through the combined lens of environment, climate, and poverty reduction. That's where I come in. My work focuses on knowledge development and lending operations that actually finance investments and policy reforms that help countries to achieve their development goals by tackling the problems that affect the poor, as I said. More recently, I have been working on air pollution or contaminated air. So air pollution is contaminated air. It could be outdoor air, called ambient air, or indoor air, household air. Air pollution is the leading environmental health risk that we face today in the world. It's the leading environmental cause of death worldwide. It's responsible for 7 million deaths worldwide, associated with diseases such as cardiovascular disease, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, lung cancer, respiratory illnesses. There may be people who are asthmatic in this very forum. I know somebody who is, but we'll keep that under the table for now. And that is all caused by poor air quality. Majority of these deaths, almost 90% of the 7 million deaths that are due to air pollution, they happen in low and middle income countries, in developing countries. And the big culprit in air pollution is what you call fine particulate matter. It's really tiny aerosols, tiny particles of air pollution that are able to penetrate deep into the lungs, deep into your blood system, cause inflammation and cause all the diseases that I mentioned earlier, lung cancer, cardiovascular disease, etc., etc. These deaths are occurring today. They're occurring now, the 7 million deaths that we're talking about, and many of them are occurring on the African continent. They may be affecting an African woman that you know, or her children, and may be suffering from respiratory illnesses that are caused by air pollution. Now, so what's the linkage with climate? Air pollutants and greenhouse gases essentially come from the same sources, such as coal-fired power plants, so where you have generation of power by the burning of coal, or you have vehicles that are using diesel. Those are sources of air pollution, but they're also sources of the greenhouse gases that warm the climate. Now, in addition to that, there is a component of the fine particles. They're called short-lived climate pollutants. I don't want to get too technical, but just remember this if you take nothing away. Take this one away. There is what you call black carbon. Usually it's like what you see with soot. Black carbon is a component of fine particles. Black carbon is also a climate warmer. So it's not only an air pollutant, it also causes the climate to get warmer. It has a relatively short lifespan in the environment. So basically, if you implement interventions that reduce air pollution, because black carbon is also a component of fine particles, you will by doing so also reduce black carbon. So you will have multiple benefits of reducing air pollution. You will have improved air quality, so you have an environmental benefit. You will have improved health because all the air pollutants that are causing cardiovascular diseases, you're able to eliminate them. And then you will mitigate climate because you are removing the black carbon, which is a climate warmer. So that intersection of the climate pollutants that are also air pollutants and the health aspects is where is really the nexus of where I work, and that's what brings climate together with the environmental engineering. I hope that has not been too technical. I hope I didn't lose anybody, but that's the link. Thank you.
Yeah, the good thing about technology is that it's recorded. So if you lost anybody, they can go and review the session and catch up. So I will go right along and ask Abimbola the same question. Abimbola, from reading your bio, which I read to the audience, you work as an environmental justice research policy consultant, and you are also the advisor to the EU in Nigeria on digital and the green economy. So can you tell me, and I know I follow you on Twitter, I see all the amazing things you write on Twitter and on LinkedIn. So keep up the good work. We definitely want young people to really be at the forefront of climate, of being a climate justice activist. But tell me, in a very concise form, how does your work relate to climate change? As if we don't know, but please tell me in your words.
Thank you so much, Ms. Winifred. Okay, so I'll just go straight to the point. I figured that there was a very major challenge in terms of climate change. And the three major challenges I was able to identify is a lot of people deny the fact that the impact of climate change is real. And two, a lot of people do not know what climate change is or know how to get involved and how it affects them directly. And also, many of the people who suffer from the devastating impact of climate change are people who live in coastal communities. As you would know, I'm a Lagosian and a Nigerian, and Nigeria is one of the coastal communities, if not one of the largest coastal communities that we have. And these three major challenges has formed the basis of my work because a lot of attention is needed to pay on how people understand the linkages between climate change, their activities, and how all these impact their immediate environment. And this has formed the basis of my work. So as a young person, I have been impacted by the impact of climate change indirectly because I am in Lagos. Lagos is overpopulated. Lagos is congested. And there are other ripple effects that many of these human activities that we do at the local level affects the natural environment in terms of oil spillage, gas flaring, and the likes. And many of these, together with some cultural barriers, is reducing the kind and type of knowledge people are supposed to get in terms of climate change. And we know that young people are the workforce of the nation, and women are equally leaders and managers of our nation's economy. And so these certain people are the ones that are mostly impacted by climate change. And these are the people that understand how they can solve this climate crisis, regardless of whether they know or understand these intricacies. So in going into communities, living amongst them, learning about how how climate change impact the natural environment and the type of activities that they conduct that also contribute in its own little way to carbon emission and the likes, I've been able to understand that people who live along the coast are the most vulnerable. And two, many women are not included in policy formulation processes. Two, these certain women rather understand some of the traditional practices that can help improve climate adaptation methods, although they do not know that they have these traditional practices that have been passed on to them from generations orally, and also they do not have a say. And so women face a lot of climate injustices because many of these communities are where industries pitch their tent, because they have a lot of natural resources that industries would want to pitch on to help produce and manufacture more goods to make our life easier and smarter, although not sustainable. And so some of these, and many of these locals do not have the opportunity to get employment from these industries who come to pitch. And one of the things I've come to discover is that there is a customary law that says that any industries that come to harness the resources existing in another community has to give at least 20 to 30% employment opportunities to the indigenes or the locals of the community. But this has not been the case. And so these women are subjected to poverty. They are the ones who take out the waste materials that these industries produce and find a way to dispose of this waste, which they eventually dump in the ocean or in the water bodies, and also dump and burn them because there are no alternative means of waste disposal. And some of these health effects as damaged and impacted some of us impacted their health in numerous ways. And pregnant women, unborn babies are beginning to feel this impact. And these certain women too do not have access to quality healthcare services. And so these are some of the things that have formed the basis of my work. And so I stood and I thought, okay, if education
Abimbola,
is the foundation.
Can you hold that thought? Can you hold that thought, please? Hold that thought. Thank you so much. So there's something that we are hearing, both from Dr. Aram, Dr. Yewande Awe, and Abimbola Abikoye. One thing that we are hearing loud and clear is that climate change affects our health. It affects the poor. It affects women who really make up that poor demographic. And then it affects not just livelihood and not just like housing, because Abimbola talked about the coast. And when you have rising sea levels, guess what's happening? Housing becomes a problem. So it affects accommodation and possibly causes migration. So what we are hearing resounding is that climate change has such a negative impact on human beings and the ecosystem where they dwell. You know, when my children were in high school, I sent them to the Brown Environmental Lab. And because of one of their subjects, my daughter Jessiana told me that they talked to them about water and water scarcity, and that South Africa is not going to have water. She told me the year, I can't remember right now. But that is really what opened my eye as a parent to the issue of climate change. That's some years ago. That was in 2016. And from that time, we started to become part of the whole climate justice, being an activist, being part of the solution, just understanding what we can do as individuals to be part of the to be part of the solution. So I want to ask Yewande, there's a lot of talk in my research about climate change. One of the things that I found out is that 80% of the emissions comes from our energy consumption, and 60% is based on inefficient management of energy. One of the things my daughter put pressure on me to do is to start to compost and become environmental savvy. You know, so we have all these emissions happening, and there's a lot of talk that the scale of the change needed to manage energy, to be able to use energy efficiently in order to meet the net zero standard is pretty significant. So there's so much talk on net zero. Everywhere you're talking about climate change, the word net zero is a word that is used. Please unpack net zero for us who are just getting into this climate conversation. What is net zero about?
Okay, so net zero very simply means that you're trying to cut greenhouse gases so that overall net you have zero greenhouse gas emissions as much as possible. So what if there are any greenhouse gas emissions, you want to make sure that an equal amount of greenhouse gas emissions are also taken out of the environment. If there's any remaining greenhouse gas emissions, those the idea would be that they're absorbed into healthy oceans or healthy forests, for example. So it's basically a situation where you're trying to have zero greenhouse gas emissions. It's very ambitious, as you can imagine.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much for that. And so I'm going to ask my co-moderator, Tosin, do you have, because you are an environmental engineer, and you, although you're into leadership coaching now, you are an environmental engineer. You have a master's in environmental engineering. You've done work in wastewater management. And so you do have a lot of knowledge about this topic. So do you have a question for Dr. Yewande Awe and Abimbola Abikoye? Because it's one thing to talk about the problem, it's another thing to talk about solutions that will address the inequality that we are hearing about, women being affected, youth, children being affected, and actually repair the ecosystem. So do you have a question that you would like to ask Dr. Yewande Awe and Abimbola Abikoye?
Yes, this has been so informative. Thank you both, Dr. Yewande and Abimbola. One thing that comes to mind is, what are the consequences of climate change? And frankly, why should we care about it at this point in time?
Okay, would you like me to go first, or would Abimbola be going first?
You can go first.
I'm happy to go first. So, you know, Dr. Aram alluded to the consequences of climate change. They are dire, and they are real. They're not imagined, they're not just ideological. Some of the consequences that we don't even have to think too much about, the issue of sea level rising. What does that mean? It means that there's a higher propensity for floods, for people's homes to be washed away if they live in low-lying areas, for the people to lose their homes. These are real impacts. You have higher frequency of extreme events, like landslides, and you know, where people lose their lives in landslides or mudslides. You have more droughts, more frequent droughts that affects, you know, agricultural productivity. And I'll make especially in terms of, agricultural productivity, we know that on the African continent, about 40% of the labor for crop production is provided by women. So if you have a situation where climate change is really having negative impacts on the productivity of the land, it's causing degradation of the land is not as productive as it could be, that directly affects the livelihoods of the African woman. It affects her ability to make an income, her ability to look after her children, to look after her family. So the impacts are real, and there is a need to care at a personal level. It's a global issue. It's a global issue, but there is a need to care at a very personal level. And I think, in my view, one of the ways in which that being able to go from looking at the problem as a global one to a local one, in a sense, I think that is where, again, I'll go back to that connection between air quality and climate change. Air quality affects you every day. It's the air you breathe around you, right? It's in your local environment. Climate change is a global issue, and it does have local ramifications. One way that you could do something about it that would affect one's life directly is looking at where that intersection is. A woman who has children to look after, maybe to educate her children, to send her children to school, to give them healthcare, to make sure that they do not get sick, to clothe them. These are all the issues that she would be concerned with on a day-to-day basis. She's not thinking about a global problem, right? Even though climate is global, it does have that local effect. So I think for us, it's very important to be able to bring down that global to how does it affect the local, the everyday that the woman is experiencing. Yeah.
So I want you to hold your thought there, Dr. Yewande. So this is a real issue. I mean, if you go on Yahoo right now and you Google Pakistan, right now in Pakistan, there's a heat wave. So you have women doing everything in an area where they have water scarcity. They are using every means possible to keep their children cool so that their children can sleep at night. If their children do not sleep at night, the parents can't rest. And guess what is happening? If they don't rest, they don't sleep, that impacts their productivity, that impacts their brain health. So what we are talking about is so serious. And at the end of this conversation, my goal is that you are going to ask yourself, what is my role in this climate change conversation? What can I do? My daughter's teacher told her about water scarcity in 2016, 6 years ago, and that opened the door for our family to get involved in the whole conversation about what we can do to contribute to mitigating climate change. So each one of us has responsibilities in this whole area of mitigating climate change. Because of the time, we are not going to be able to take questions. I would like to ask you to put your questions on the chat. We are going to ask the panelists to answer these questions and get back to you. So if you put your questions and your email address, we'll be able to get get back to you. So going right along, I am going to continue that talk with you, Yewande, about the impact on climate change on us as human beings. Let's dive a bit deeper. Let us look at the African woman. The African woman that is the engine of the African continent. There's a proverb that says that if you educate a man, you just educate a man. My apologies to David Litton and all the men here. Don't take it personal. But if you educate a woman, you educate a continent, a country. So women play a very pivotal role in the communities. Your mother, Professor Bolanle Awe, as an activist for women and as a historian, has paved the way for a lot of women in Nigeria. So I know you understand the impact of the role a woman plays in Africa. So tell me, let's dive a bit deeper into why we should care. What is the impact of climate change on women in particular, because that is the topic of today, how digital transformation can mitigate the impact of climate change on the African woman. So I'm wearing the heart of an African woman. Tell me, why should I know you started to talk about it and I had to stop you, but let's dive a bit deep into that conversation. You know, why should the African woman take climate change as a priority when she's trying to feed her children? Why should she?
Thank you for stating it exactly that way. Why should an African woman take climate change seriously if she's trying to feed her children, if she's trying to send them to school? And I will keep on going back to this. I know it may sound boring or repetitious. The way that, first of all, an African woman should care about climate because it does, at the end of the day, affect her life, and it affects the lives of those she loves. If you look at the impacts of climate change, I used the example of agriculture earlier, that 40% of the labor for agriculture on the continent is provided by women. So if climate has negative impacts where the land is degraded or the land just becomes unproductive and the woman is not able to farm, she's not able to go into her crop production, how does she feed her children? How does she look after her family? How does she look after the child that is sick? Those are compelling reasons why anybody should be interested in this, right? If you have the issue of sea level rise, which causes flooding, and you have fishing families on the West African coast, for example, where the entire family, their livelihood is catching fish. If you have issues with the coastline receding, what does such a family do? What happens to their livelihood that is dependent on that same coastline? Or the family that lives along that coastline, and because of floods, their home is washed away. What does the woman do in that situation? Now we know that the woman is, as in most African homes, she's a big burden bearer. She does, whether sung or unsung, she is a big burden bearer, recognized or otherwise. And so when the impact hit, a pillar in the home, the nucleus of the society is hit, and the impacts trickle down.
Thank you so much. Hold that thought, Dr. Yewande. Abimbola, I'm going to ask you the question, why should the youth care? My daughter, like I said, brought me into this whole world of climate change. Tell me, for you as a young person, you already gave us a brief about what your work is about and why you started the work. So let's make it a bit generic, but for all the youth, why should the youth have a voice in this climate justice discussion?
Well, it's essential for young people to be engaged in climate change discussions because they are, aside the fact that they are the workforce of every economy or every nation, they are the ones that are greatly impacted by climate change and can solve the challenges that comes with it, because every young person belongs to a certain community and nobody knows a problem better than the person who experiences it. And so for every young person, they have the capacity to help solve the climate crisis, and also because they are mostly impacted by it, it affects their work, it affects their education, it affects infrastructure, because without infrastructures, you can't have education, you can't go to school, you can't become who you envision yourself to be. Your dreams and aspirations cannot be achieved if you don't have some basic amenities readily available to help scale you as a person. And so it's very important because we can help in partnership with the older generation, like we always call it, our mothers and our fathers, to help solve these challenges, bringing our own perspective to the discourse. And that's why it is essential for young people to engage, because like the theme for today's event, solving the climate crisis through digital transformation, the world is digital. And young people are like at the forefront of this, leveraging technology, creating technological machineries to ensure that we solve these challenges in our community. And so every community has different ways they're being impacted by climate change, from flood to drought land, loss of tree covers, and the likes. And so, yes, these are why young people should engage in the discourse, because we have that energy, we have the potential, and we have the capacity to do things the way that it should be done, in partnership with our parents, in partnership with the government, in partnership with policymakers, and every person on us. Thank you.
Thank you so much. My apologies if I was trying to interrupt you in the middle of a sentence, but I'm glad that you had the opportunity to finish that sentence. I'm just keeping my eye on the time. And so I really want to start to move on to the solutions. So before we talk about solution, I want to just talk about the young. There's a young girl, I can't remember her name, who was able to lobby, and there are so many stories like that, who was able to lobby Girl Scouts of America that Girl Scout cookies need to have non-GMO products, ingredients. So one of the things Dr. Yewande Awe really talked about was biodiversity, the food that we eat. So, I mean, these young people want to live long. So the food they eat, they don't want that food to have all these pesticides that we expose them to climate, to diseases, and that we shorten their life. So I really like all the things that you have put in about why young people should care. So whichever way we look at it, it affects all of us. I would like my panelists now to, my panelists who are looking at solutions. How can digital, we've talked about the problem. Now we want to move on to solutions. How do we address the inequality? How do we repair the ecosystem? How do we reduce the emissions? Like I said, 80% of the emissions that Dr. Yewande talked about, greenhouse emissions, carbon dioxide, they come from consumption. So how do we reduce the emission? How can digital transformation be a key to mitigating the impact of climate change on women and the African youth? So joining me will be Dr. Ibilola Amao. I will ask you to put on your video, and Vashinee. I cannot go through your bios. Please go to the website for their bios. So I will just go straight to the question because we really are running late on time. So my question to you, just one question to both of you because of time, so that we can round it up. What is digital transformation? And Vashinee, you have to put on your video. What is digital transformation? So any of you can add. Dr. Ibilola, you want to go ahead and tell us what is digital transformation?
Okay, thank you so much for having me on this panel. It's a privilege to share the same stage with renowned environmentalists and people involved in the energy value chain. Digital transformation basically is optimizing technology as an enabler to address gaps in the use or in optimizing resources. And I must say that each and every one of us has become an advocate of digital transformation post-COVID, because we all got entrapped in some unpredicted situation during the pandemic. So we had logistics issues, mobility issues, and we had to optimize technology to reach places and people we could not have otherwise reached physically. I know using Zoom, Microsoft Teams, and Skype was quite novel before the pandemic, but what had not been achieved in 2-3 years was achieved in like 2-3 months immediately after COVID hit. So I think, quite honestly, each and every one of us had to accelerate our adoption of technology, and digital transformation has come up in different dimensions in different sectors. So I'll just talk about the oil and gas industry and the energy industry where I play. Digital twins used to be something that was quite novel. But because of the logistics issues that came with the pandemic, the inability to move people around very quickly, and the need for expertise to keep facilities and assets running, people have had to create mirror images, digital twins of physical assets, so that we can optimize talent real-time online across geographies and time zones. And where we couldn't fly experts into remote oil and gas assets. We were able to leverage technology using artificial intelligence, augmented reality, virtual reality, extended reality, mixed reality, and data analytics, and the internet and cloud technology to pull in the expertise of people from remote locations to where it is most needed and optimize the local resources to take advantage of the knowledge, that skills and good practice which was not locally available. And this was all enabled using technology. So that's a small example of digital transformation. And I'm sure in all the sectors of our economy today, some level of information technology is being deployed to optimize the resources and basically reduce our digital and carbon footprints. Thank you.
So thank you so much for that. So one thing that
looks like Winifred might be frozen again. So I want to bring Vashinee into the conversation as well. And with your background, could you also give us some insight onto how we can mitigate the impacts of climate change on the African woman as well?
Sure. Tosin, with your permission, I'm gonna switch off my video just to avoid the freezing, okay?
Sure, sure.
Perfect. Yes, so let's talk a little bit about how to mitigate. First of all, digital transformation is itself very vast subject. When we're talking about technology, it touches everybody's life today. May it be business, may it be personal use. So I am so touched with everybody's story today because it's touching African women, most probably, it's touching, like we say, it's touching the nucleus. So what can we do to mitigate? You people are pointing towards the personal life of that person. But if you see, we have to start with the top of the pyramid so it can channel down. So it's starting with the policymakers. So it's starting with either the government or the private companies. They should come forward with a PPP collaboration and see how to implement framework, including the forefront technologies and even the back-end technologies. This, when we talk about the African woman having lots of responsibility towards their social, personal, professional life, if we really empower them through the right education and employment opportunities in the field of climatology, they can definitely play a pivotal role in the progress of the sustainability of the world. So today, the digital revolution has created new opportunities through data science, artificial intelligence, machine learning, to mitigate those effects of climate change, eventually helping them to have the proper knowledge and understanding how to adapt to those environmental conditions and come with the practical solution. I'll give you an example, what we are doing in Kenya, Nairobi. We have a prestigious organization working for the government, and we have joined hands with them. These people, they have carried out a survey around Nairobi, people who are using charcoals to cook the food, okay? And what are the gas emission, the percentage of the gas emission through these charcoals? What we are doing, we are gathering those data. We are mining those data, and we are creating those patterns for the government to understand that it is now to stop the use of charcoals and to start using the renewable energy, either electricity or through solar panels or et cetera, et cetera. So these are some technology tools or platforms that can be implemented in the daily life of people to facilitate things for the African woman and in parallel mitigating the climate change. So these are the small steps that require the huge mind. It has to be a very mindful and holistic approach to implement a DX economy. So we really need to understand what is a DX economy. It's not about just, we have to avoid the cutting down of the trees. When we say we have to avoid deforestation, yes, it is real. We are having it around territories. So we have to stop this. When you stop this, definitely you go in the sense of creating paperless environment. We have I started my company 5.5 years ago, and the first strategy I built was to prevent the use of paper in my office. So today we are 100% paperless, first thing. Second thing, we have automated the whole business process, leading to efficiency at work, preventing, it creates more a motivation at work. Like the person doesn't need to do data entries. It is all using like artificial intelligence, the new way of working, creating a new mindset. So these are the motivation that you can create business-wise, which leads to a positive mindset in the personal life of the African woman. Of course, it leads to the male genders as well, but we are talking about African women today. So I'm telling you, it cut down a lot of frustration. During pandemic, we came out with a NGO where we established frameworks, and we propagate.
Vashinee, let me interrupt you. Please hold that thought. So we have run out of time, and we are going to have another panel discussion tomorrow, where we're going to be focusing on how digital transformation is used in the mining industry. Vashinee, please come and be part of that discussion, because of the tech difficulties we've had here, there'll be opportunities to ask questions and for comments to come from the audience. But we had a few tech difficulties in starting with this session. So there are so many questions that I'm going to put on the chat that the panel, I didn't get a chance to ask, but the panelists will answer those questions. And if you want us to give you those answers, we will send them to you. In summary, climate change affects all of us. From reduction in our biodiversity to causing homelessness because of rising sea levels, to droughts, to just making life miserable. And it is each one of us is responsible for contributing to the solution. We've heard what digital transformation is doing, where in switching energy systems from fossil fuels to renewable energy, we are able to reduce emissions and by so doing, reduce climate change. Yes, digital transformation within organizations is causing all of these impact in terms of reducing climate change. But I want each one of you, as you go away, to ask yourself, having heard all of this story, having heard the impact climate change has on our lives, what are you going to do in your world to be climate positive? How are you going to spend your money? Are you going to go into the shops, the supermarket, and buy products that are full of pesticides to grow products that will emit a lot of greenhouse gas emissions and impact climate change? Or are you going to spend wisely and go to the farmer's market and buy products that do not use a lot of pesticides? So, each one of us has a part to play. Are you going to throw your peels, or are you going to compost your peels and make the soil rich? And even if you do not want to garden, you can put it and ask people to come and take your composted your remains from your peels, and so that they can put it in the soil. What part are you going to play? There's so much information online. I want each one of you to be educated. It is our individual action that will grow into a collective action that is going to make a significant change to mitigate climate change. Each one of us has a part to play. So thank you so much for being part of this discussion. I am going to hand the baton over to David Linton. David, we needed 2 hours for this conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Winifred, and thank you, everybody. I think we need to really, and thank you, audience. I think we need to really continue this, as a monthly session within one of our WITI special interest groups, so we can all kind of learn what we can do, whether we will only work and buy for companies that are supporting this, whether we can get involved specifically with our technical know-how. I think there's there's a lot of things that we could do. So thank you all. That was fascinating and awesome. Great. So, we're kind of transitioning right into, for the next hour, just going into small breakout rooms and meeting each other, maybe sharing some of the, sharing your thoughts about what you learned today. But really, WITI is all about getting you the connections and resources you need to get to the next level. So we're going to put everybody in breakout rooms now. We'd like the person with the birthday closest to January to go first. Introduce yourself. We're going to start out with 7-minute breakout rooms, and then we'll come back together and share, and then we'll scramble them and you'll meet more people. So have a great time. I just paused it, Ken. Oh, Donna, welcome. I'm going to put you in a breakout room.
Thank you. Hello.
Hi. I'm just kind of networking now, so I'm going to put you in 2. Welcome, everybody. If you just came in, we're in breakout rooms now, so I'm going to start adding you to breakout rooms. Tracy Feldkamp, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, we're putting you in 2. Donna, did you get bumped? Johanna, let me find a breakout room for you. I'm going to put you in 6. Hey, no, we're in breakout rooms now, so I'm going to put you in so you can meet some people, okay? Good. Hey, Claire, welcome. Janie, are you with us? Hey, Claire, welcome. Oh, Janie, can you hear me? Looks like you're not on audio. So you want to hit the, if you're on a computer, it should be the bottom in the left-hand corner. Click on it and then choose computer audio. Okay, Claire, it looks like you're not getting on audio either. Hopefully you guys can read what I'm saying because I know you're not on audio yet. So I'm going to come right back. Janie, let me put you in room 5. Just make sure. Yeah, I'm gonna put you in 5. Thione, I'm gonna put you in breakout. Oh, it did reset the time, so we'll go for another 5 minutes. Let me actually, we'll just keep our breakout room here now. So, Thione, is that how you pronounce your name? Welcome.
Theon. Thank you.
Okay, nice. Would you share where you're coming in from, what you do?
Yes, Los Angeles, California. I'm a coach and consultant and work with young people. Right now, I'm trying to build out a digital platform, a safe space for them in the metaverse.
Awesome. Okay, great. Welcome. Is this your first WITI conference?
Yes, it is.
Excellent. Welcome. Okay, we have a few more minutes for the breakout rooms. Why don't I put you in so you can meet some people, and then we'll come back in a few. I'm going to put you in 10. Okay, Maisha, how's it going? We got you sorted out. Are you good? Did you get bumped from a breakout room? Oh no, you're doing okay. Let me put you in 14. And Grace, welcome. Oh, Grace is getting on that. Hey, Grace, welcome. We're gonna go. Hi. I'm gonna put you in a breakout room. Everybody's just in breakout rooms now.
Thank you.
So I'm gonna put you in a breakout room. I'm gonna put you in number 18. So you can meet each other. We'll come back in a few and then we'll scramble them again. Rachel, welcome. I'm gonna put you in a breakout room too. And I'm gonna follow you in there to make sure they're good. Be right back. Okay, So welcome for those of you that just got here. We have 2 minutes left in the breakout rooms, and then we're going to scramble them again. But Asmi, welcome. Devshri, would you like to share where you're coming in from?
Hello, sir.
How are you? Were you able to attend the first session?
I'm fine, sir. How are you?
Good. Were you able to attend the first session?
Yes, sir. This is my first session.
Okay, got it. All right, we had a good first track. So have a lot more stuff happening. Right now, people are just in breakout rooms. So we'll do that. Devshri, welcome from Ontario. Meeting you too. Welcome, everybody. Where we are now, people are just in breakout rooms, networking. We're going to bring them back, and then we'll be going into breakout, and then you'll have a chance to meet a bunch of people. But Pauline, welcome. Where are you coming in from? Would you like to share and what you do? Okay. You guys can hear me, right?
Yes, we can hear you. I think some folks are having a lag.
I got it.
Looks like
yeah.
it.
I think there's been some Zoom fails today. But Divya?
Yes, David. Hi. Nice to meet you.
Again. You too. Would you share where you're coming in from and what you do?
I am with Infosys and I am based out of Seattle. Excellent. Bellevue, to be specific. Yeah.
Got it. Welcome. I have a cousin in Bellevue.
What
Pauline,
did you say? You lived in Bellevue?
No, I have a cousin up there.
Oh, you have a cousin up there. Yes.
Yeah, my dad's sister's son is in
nice.
Bellevue.
It's one of those rare days. It's a little sunny, and I don't know how many minutes it's going to last, but yeah.
Right. Enjoy that while you can. Pauline, would you like to say hi and share where you're coming in from and what you do?
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, I'm from T-Mobile. I'm a technical project manager and I work in technology training. And I'm based out of Bellevue also.
Okay, awesome. Welcome. Okay, and everybody's just coming back from the breakout rooms. So thanks. We'll scramble them again. I know there were some people on the last one that left. If there is a fail, people aren't participating in your breakout room, or maybe you want to meet some different people, you can always just hit in the bottom right-hand corner. You'll see a button that says leave breakout rooms. Okay. And then you'll come back and then we'll put you somewhere else. So let me just recreate the rooms.
And tomorrow you have a networking day or session, correct?
Yeah, networking from 8 to 9 like this tomorrow. We have coaching circles in a couple of hours that are also very interactive.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, so those are afternoons on both days as well. Let me just recreate these.
David, I have a question.
How many minutes are we getting in the breakouts?
Yeah, sorry. For some reason, we're going to go 8 minutes on this one, and I'll set the timer so there'll be a countdown.
So David, what do we do if you want to stay in breakout room for a little longer, because we were in middle of a conversation and it made us step out?
Yeah, unfortunately, you have 8 minutes and you're going to get a countdown this time. So make sure you exchange information and we'll get you guys connected. We do these types of rooms too, by the way, every Wednesday at WITI at 10 o'clock Pacific. We kind of give a quick update on membership and what some of the programs we have. And then we just do breakout rooms like this. So you'll have plenty of time to meet people. But I'm not going to talk any longer. I'm going to let you guys meet people. Person with a birthday closest to January goes first. Oh, Stephanie's not assigned. All right, Stephanie, let me just find a room for you.
Thank you.
Sure. Okay, I'm going to put you in 14. Stephanie is in 14. Frenchie, I'm going to put you in.
Hi, David. Good morning. Hi, everyone.
Good morning. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm new at this, so we'll see how
Okay.
it goes. I'm excited.
Awesome. Okay, I'm putting you in 13. Here we go. All right. And Janine, you should be assigned. Are you having trouble getting in? Okay, Janine, if you do want to join, I can't hear you. I don't know if you're speaking. It looks like you did unmute. But feel free to chat. There should be a timer now. Perfect. Okay, good. Okay, I'm going to jump into make sure everybody's talking. Welcome, everybody. We're in breakout rooms now. So I'm going to assign you. And Goal, would you like me to update your name so people know who you are?
Oh, hi. Hi, yeah. My name is Sheila.
Sheila?
Goyer.
Got it.
It's Sheila, yeah. Goyer.
Got it. Okay, so Sheila, let's go ahead and we have 3 minutes left. Yes, I'll just put you in one of the breakout rooms so you can connect.
I was in one, and whenever I thought you all went back to the whole big deal, and I just got lost. It just went away.
Oh, interesting.
So
all right. Well,
I just come back in.
Cool. And Mike, welcome.
Hello.
We can put you in a breakout room. We have 3 minutes left. So let me put you in number 4. I'm going to put you both in 4. Thea, you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, you're going in 4 also.
Hey, David.
Yes.
I would maybe let people know when they leave the breakout room to make sure that they click leave room, not leave meeting. I think that's what's happening to some of them.
I got it. Okay.
And you could potentially even do a broadcast message with that.
Okay.
Thanks.
And okay. Hey, Christina. Nice to meet you. I've heard so much about you. If you're the Christina that works with Ken Sky, that is. No? Oh wow, that's I thought that was a unique spelling. Oh, he's Kristen is your person, right, Ken? All right,
yeah,
we've got 2 minutes.
My person is Kristen.
My bad. We have 2 minutes left in the breakout, so we'll just hang here. But Christina, tell me about yourself and where you're coming in from.
Hi, I am manager for cybersecurity in T-Mobile. Yeah, I am based in Seattle, and I've been around here for 4 years.
Awesome. Welcome. Have you been in the Seattle area for 4 years too, or have you been there longer?
Sorry. I thought you were asking somebody else. No, sorry. Early morning here in the Pacific Coast. I'm having my coffee.
I got you.
Before working in Seattle, I worked in Miami for 4 or 5 years, and before that, I was traveling all over the world in Europe and Africa and Latin America, because I used to be an IT auditor, a security auditor. So I used to travel from country to country. And then I came here and stayed here because this is a wonderful place. I love it.
Yeah, so it wasn't bad once COVID hit. At least you were in a nice place, right? You could have been anywhere.
Definitely.
Very nice. Yeah, we have a great security panel today. I don't know if you saw that on the schedule. With Diane Kelly and a few other people. So you may want to check that out.
Perfect. I am going to go get a charger really quick. Give me just
go do it, because then people will come back in about a minute and then we're going to put you in a separate room. Thanks.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Because this is like
this networking. So yeah, so everybody's in the breakout rooms now, and then we're going to come back. So you'll meet each other.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Hey, Connie.
David, are you on the WITI account?
Am I on the WITI account?
Are you able to make me co-host?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
I can do that.
I did it.
Okay, got it. Welcome back, everybody. So before we go in, everybody, I think, is just coming back now. And before we go into the breakout room, the next breakout rooms, I'd love just if anybody would like to share maybe something or someone new they met this morning.
Yeah, well, I like the topic. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, no, you can go.
I was just going to say, I liked the topic that we just had about climate changes. I live in California. I'm in, actually, I was sharing that I was 1.5 miles away from the coastal fire. So the impacts of the fires here in California, the water issue that we're having. So some of that came up, which was really, it's a big problem, and it's probably going to be a big problem across the world, not just in California. So anyways, that was an interesting topic.
Yeah, for sure. Amazing. Anyone else before we go?
I will just share this. This is Natalie McCants. I'm with Infosys. So love the breakout. I know you said they can't be longer, but I wish that they were longer because we always seem to end right as we're saying something.
Hey, so why don't I go 10 minutes instead of 8 minutes? Is that good?
I think 12 at least would be better. I agree with Natalie. They were too short.
Yeah, so I'm going to go 10 minutes, and then once we stop, you'll have a 60-second you're leaving rather than 10 seconds.
Great.
Cool. I have a quick point. In the 2 sessions I was in, there was at least one person who was looking for a job. And I would like to know how I could help that person. So if you are that person, be sure to have a really crisp ask. Say, this is the kind of thing I'm looking for. So if anybody knows, can connect me, please do. But a really crisp ask would be great.
Excellent.
That's an excellent suggestion, Marion.
Thank you.
And often I would just like to add that often when the ask is something that WITI can help with, be sure to let WITI know too, because we have a lot of connections and our goal is to help each member of our community in any way possible.
Great. Okay, everybody, 10 minutes, 60-second countdown. Have fun. Hey, Chaitanya, did you get bumped? Oh, no. Welcome, Tinku. We just started breakout room, so I'm going to go ahead and put you in a breakout room with so you can meet a few people. Let me just put you into.
Thank you, and good to see you again.
You too.
Hey, David. Hey, David.
Yes.
When you open the breakout rooms,
Yes.
is there an option where you can say that co-host should not be thrown in there?
Oh, is there? I'll check that.
There should be if you're on the latest version. If you could.
Perfect.
I didn't notice I was in there.
Okay, no worries. I'll
Started talking to you or to somebody I was going to assign them, and I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah, no worries.
It's all good. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to go back. All right, bye.
Hey, Ken, are you there? Ken?
Yes.
Hey, for the coaching part, are we gonna, so I was thinking for that we could just use one account for all of them and then just put people into breakouts. Is that what we're gonna do?
Well, Peggy wanted them to be recorded. That's why we did the different sessions.
Oh, so the coaching circle she wants recorded?
Yeah.
Because we usually don't do that. Okay. All right.
Yeah, that's just something that.
So we have to have separate rooms for everything.
That's why we have to have the separate rooms. Yeah.
And did you get my text that the alternate account I have, I can only run one at a time, and we can't do 152 on the same account.
Oh, yeah, that didn't show up. And I see it now. Okay, what we might have to do is to start then 152 later. So I'll have to close the webinar, and then I can open that one.
Okay, so and is the link that we have on vFairs and on the Google Doc correct then for 152? We don't need to change it.
Yeah, we'll need to change that because.
Okay, so just let Henry and me and Dave know, and then we'll get everything else updated with the new links.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome, everybody. For those of you just getting in, just kind of winding down the last segment of breakout rooms. And then we're going to start another one in a minute. But you're going to be with some new people. Sometimes you get some of the same people. But I know there's never enough time, right? So, but remember, every Wednesday at 10, we do have kind of a membership update to share with you some of the new programs we have going on. And then we do breakout rooms for about 40 minutes so you can meet people. That's every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. But we have stuff like that going on all throughout the week. Usually take Sunday off, but every day you can find coaching circles. We have some great micro communities within WITI, like our low code, no code, agile DevOps, ag tech, a lot of things happening. So before I scramble them again and put you in breakout rooms, I'd love Janie to introduce herself and share where she's coming in from and what she does.
Okay, thank you. My name's Janie. I work for T-Mobile. I'm a software developer, and I live in Tampa, Florida.
Excellent.
Hi, Janie.
Hi, and thank you for doing this. This is fun. I'm having a good time.
It's fun. Thank you. David, one thing when we go into breakout rooms, could you remind everyone to give each speaker, limit the time they talk so everyone has a chance to talk?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Great points, everybody. We'll have 10 minutes. You're in groups of 4 or 5. So yeah, maybe keep it to 90 seconds so you have a little time to allow everybody to share. Michelle, welcome. Did I pronounce your name right? Michael? Michael? I can't hear you, but it does say you're not muted.
Hello?
There we
Can you hear
go.
me?
I can now.
Thank you.
How do you pronounce your name?
Yes, it is Michael.
Okay, Michael, welcome. I'm going to put you in a breakout room now. We just started breakout rooms. So you can meet some people. Is that good?
Yep, that is fine. Thank you very much.
Okay, you got it. And Ramya, welcome. Nice to see you again. I'm going to put you in 10. You with me?
Okay.
Okay, perfect. Thanks. James, welcome.
Hi.
Thanks for joining. Are you just getting
No
here?
problem. Who?
Are you just getting here?
Oh, yes.
Where are you coming in from?
Los Angeles.
Excellent. Okay, I'm going to put you. Do you want to go into a breakout room and meet some people?
Oh, yes, please.
What do you do?
I am an electrician.
An electrician, huh? How'd you hear about the summit?
The what?
How did you hear about the summit?
Oh, I just saw it on Twitter.
Okay, hold on one sec. I'm going to put you in a breakout room now.
Oh, thank you.
Ferdinand, welcome. Ferdinand, can you hear me?
Hi,
Welcome.
yes, thank you.
Where are you coming in from?
I'm in San Francisco. I'm with University of Arizona Global Campus.
Oh, great. Okay, everybody's in breakout rooms, just networking now, so I'm gonna put you in there.
Okay.
For Swara, welcome.
Thank you.
I'm gonna put you in a breakout room so you can meet some new people, and then we'll come back.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh. Hey, Jeremy, welcome.
Hello. So I left the room I was in.
I see your message. I'm going in there now. He's being
Thank
very
you.
inappropriate.
Yeah, so like telling the girls that he wants to Snapchat them, telling them he has an OnlyFans account, all that stuff. I just wasn't a big fan.
Hey, Jeremy, thank you. I gave that guy the boot. They can't get back in now.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm just wasn't a big fan, so I figured I would just remove myself. So
I
let you guys
appreciate
know.
it, brother. Do you want me to put you back in there, or you should be?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Let me. Yeah, as a matter of fact, if you just hit the breaking room icon at the bottom, it should take you right in there.
Okay, cool. I will do that. Yep, I see it. Thank you.
You got it. All right, Mark. Let me call you back. Hey, Andrew, welcome. Have about a minute and a half left of breakout rooms, and then they're going to come back, and then we'll do one more before we go. Can I go a little past 9, Ken? I'll do one more breakout room. Or Peggy, are you hearing that? Okay.
How much past 10?
Just
Are you
like
talking
5.
to me, David?
Is that good?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
You can get 5 now.
Okay. Yeah, no, Ken, I'm gonna do one when everybody comes back. And for those of you that just joined, welcome. We have people in breakout rooms. They're gonna come back in about a minute, and then we're gonna do one more breakout room. And then we'll go into other place, and then we'll go back. So I'll be right back. All right, sorry about that. Michelle, where are you coming in from?
Hi there. I'm here in Las Vegas.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was there about a week ago.
Okay. Hopefully, well, it was probably hot. I'm thinking when you were here then.
Yep.
Yeah,
World Series.
I was saying we had some nice weather these last few days, but yep, it's getting hot again.
It was like 110 when I was there.
Yeah.
But it was interesting. The World Series of Poker moved venues. So that was a little interesting.
Oh, okay. Just a little. You play poker?
I do.
Okay. There you go.
So we're
Hopefully
going
you're
to.
good at it.
Yeah, it's been playing for a while, so it can usually do well. Thanks, everybody. People are just coming back. We're going to do one more breakout room session. So we'll go a little past 9 and then we'll get going with the new with a new with the session right after that. So we'll be running a little late. Let me just recreate the rooms. And we should have let me make it. Oops. Let me go 12 rooms. Okay, so here we go and have fun. Person with birthday closest to January goes first. So meet each other and talk about what you may have heard or what you're looking forward to seeing. Did Ken get thrown in a room?
How you doing, Dave?
Crazy. Were you able to update the witty wave?
Oh, I don't want to touch that yet until we get all these ones fixed. You know.
But as they're in,
I understand, but I want to make sure that Henry gets the stuff in, that all the links are because we keep on changing the links. I just want to make sure it's not, you know.
I think you should do them as they get done. Because if not, people are going to put them on their calendar. Hey, Roxanne, welcome. Were you in a... Oh, hold on. I'm getting a call from Ken Sky. Hey, Ken. Okay, sorry. Roxanne, are you good? Did you get bumped? I thought I had you in a breakout room. Yeah, Roxanne, if you're trying to get back to your breakout room, you can just click on that breakout room icon. Thank you for calling Witty. Mm-hmm. Are you logged in? So when you say the site in witty.com?
It seems that, so David, are we still doing the networking at this point, or should we be joining? Oh,
I'm sorry, give me 1 sec. Marty, hold on 1 sec, sorry. So
always a little bit of, because I was trying to figure out how to go back to the main.
sorry, Marty, we just had there's like Zoom on the 8th apparently said you can only do two meetings at a time per account. And I didn't see an announcement. But anyway, that's why we're having chat option.
Okay.
And I'm gonna, yeah, and then what I'll do, Marty, I'm gonna post in the chat, and Deborah, I'm gonna send it to you too on chat, just where people go for the next session.
That's what we're looking for.
I just put the link in chat, by the way.
Okay.
So should we click on that link, Jeff?
Yeah, that'll get you into to 141.
Okay. Ah, yes, Ken Sky.
Mm-hmm. And Jeff, if you could email Deborah Lewis, she should be registered with the link of where she should go, please. Jeff's gonna send you an email, Deborah.
I'm sorry, Dave. What are you asking me to do?
That option on this screen anymore.
Okay, Jeff, Jeff Steiner's gonna email you, Deborah Lewis. And
What am I sending?
the link to 141.
141. Oh,
the one you just put in the chat. So thank you, everybody. I know it sounded like everybody was having a great time as I popped into a few rooms. So that's great. Yeah, now back to the action. I put and I see some people weren't back yet. So let me just repost this. Zoom changed things a few days ago where they're limiting 2 rooms open simultaneously per account or something. So if you do run into an issue, that calendar link's there. This is where you want to go for the next session now. 141, getting better results from resources we already have. So yeah, jump into that Zoom link. And
Will
then,
it require a meeting? I know I had some issues with the initial meeting with the meeting ID and password. Nope, we're good to go. Okay.
you should be cool for sure. So, but if you have any problems, just jump in the live chat on WITI. I'll keep this open for a little bit too. So,
all right. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you.
So David, will it bring us back to this room?
No, that link's going to take you to the next session.
Okay.
So save the chat. Don't forget to save your chat if you have contact stuff in there.
Oh, yes. Great idea. Thank you.
Okay, what link where? I'm missing something.
Hey, Winifred.
The link is in the chat. I'll
Yes,
post
Sam,
it again.
The chat.
I'm having some problems, yeah, because I need to join this getting better results. I'm not able to. So let me save my chat and get.
Yeah, the link doesn't go there. Oh, I'll try this one.
Hi, Benita.
Hi, Carolyn.
Good morning, Miss Carolyn.
Hello.
Hi, Sam. Hi, Winifred.
Hi.
Great session this morning that you put together on Africa. It was outstanding.
Thank you so much. My Spectrum sent a message to my phone telling me they had an outage in the middle of the session, at the beginning of the session. So that's why I was going in and out. So I'm glad that we were still able to have a good conversation.
It was really excellent. The quality of the people you brought on, Winifred, were outstanding.
Thank you so
and
much.
I'm not surprised.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I appreciate it. So we are going to, I want to jump into the next session. So I'm going to try and log out here and jump into the next section. See you later.
David, you're on mute.
Bye,
David.
everyone.
Right, click on that link in the chat, Carolyn, and everybody. If you want to go to the next session, it's going to say you're going to be closing one room and getting into the next room.
Okay.
So will it move
Okay,
there automatically?
If you open the link and go to that room, then you automatically,
chat.
yeah, just click it. It's going to say, do you want to shut this room down and join another one? And you just say, yes, I do. Hey, Christopher.
Hi, Christopher. You're on mute.
Yes, I thought we were about to switch rooms, so I didn't bother
Yes.
unmuting. Great to see everybody. What positive breakout sessions have been awesome.
Yes, great.
Sure.
But I'm still trying to find the link to the session. Oh, I see. Okay, wait a minute. Okay.
So if you click on that, then you're going to go into the next Zoom room. So jump right in. Do you got it, Shirley? Do you know what you're supposed to do? Okay, I'm reading your lips, and I think it says, I'm not sure. So you just want to go into the chat. And because of this Zoom issue, by the way, everybody, we did have, there's just some changes in links. But if you do go in, save this link I just put in the chat. That's like a Google Calendar. So we're updating that constantly, and then you'll have the right link if you go there. You may need to hit reload the page, but everything should be good now. I think it was all sorted out. Hold on one sec. Shirley, I can't hear you. Unmute if you're talking to me.
Hi.
Okay. All right, I'm going to jump into this room so everybody can see me there.
I can't hear you. Can you hear?
Oh. Finally figured out. Okay, okay. Can anyone hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Well, we in the last group, and Carolyn Layton was very interested in the desalinization of water, being we're both near water. I'm a block away from the Foster City canals. It's like this Venice in Italy. It was built on landfill. And this past year, they've been working on putting up a levee wall all around Foster City because of the rising tide and the pollution by ducks. So the wall now is almost completed. The other challenge with the ground, because it's landfill, are shells in the sand. So people really have to use a lot of organic compost to actually grow soil and to grow any vegetables or fruit trees in Foster City. That's what I was working on for the past 10 years at the Jewish Community Center with kids preschool through high school, where kids go full-time around the whole year to school there, except they have a camp in the summertime. I was working with kids to plant and to not use any pesticides, and to use neem, which is a natural like herb from India. Okay. So if anyone has any solution on that or interest. Let's hear from another person.
I don't know anything about growing stuff. My plants. I am so sorry that I cannot really help in that regard.
This is something that Carolyn Layton is very interested in. solving problems. I can't see the name in the. I'm trying to help you. Just let them go. It's not going to speak.
I think.
Okay, I would like to hear from the other two people. The other 5 people. I'm not the moderator. Can we hear from the other women and what their challenges are? What they enjoyed?
Of course, yes. In general, or related to climate change, or
How did you enjoy the other the speakers from the women from Africa and climate change?
yeah, that is the problem, that I would have super loved to go, but my daycare doesn't open until I couldn't attend. As soon as I dropped the kid off, I could go. So I was hoping to look it up in a rerun, because I'm sure that it was. So I'll have to catch up with that later. Maybe the others can jump in and give their. Did you girls like it? Ask me and Tosin and Jen. I think we cannot hear you.
What do you do, Christina?
Oh, I work in cybersecurity. For T-Mobile, what we do is anything that is put in the network usually goes through my team, and we give them security. We try to give them good recommendations so that they put secure equipment in the network. That's so security for computers. That's what we do.
That is a bigger problem all the time, I think.
It is not as big as climate change, but believe me, it is a problem. It is a threat. It is a threat everywhere. That we need to be prepared and aware that I can do you my self speech on security right here. Like, everybody should be aware that security is a problem, and everybody should do their best to put their little grain of sand to keep everybody secure at company, at home most than anything. Okay. So, yes, it is. It is a key issue right now everywhere, because everything is interconnected, and that interconnection exposes everybody at home, in your company, to threats from people that you have never seen, or bad actors. Yeah, that is. The world is a little bit different than 25 years ago, and now this really is key. Cybersecurity.
Yes, so we have to love to solve problems. And so problem solving needs to be a challenge for all of us. And if we could do just little steps, we feel we could help in some way. So Right now,
Definitely.
I have the challenge to find out from the Jewish people and the people that go to Israel, because I worked on a kibbutz there 55 years ago, in the farmland there, and they have been able to turn the whole desert there into very fertile crops that they raise there, and all the food that I help to teach the kids at the Jewish Community Center, which is just a mile from me. All of this food was to learn to have the kids appreciate how fun it is to go have these seeds and grow into plants and then give it away to the homeless.
That is so
So
awesome.
I'm going to speak to someone there and how the desalinization of water can be helped, and give a report to Carolyn Layton. She's very interested in that. Why don't we hear from
Nice.
someone else? Several other people are there. Can we hear from them?
It must have been a really good experience being in the kibbutz, right?
Yes. Oh, and the war broke out during that time, and everybody, our group from the University of San Francisco, but from all over the country, were so scared. They said, I'm going to sleep under my bed. I'm scared as anything. It was only like 2 blocks away, and the war broke out, and there were like a bomb going off. And I'll tell you, I was not scared. I said, I'm not going to sleep under the bed. I'm going to lay on my bed, and somehow got through this. I'll tell you, they have a wonderful military in Israel.
Me too. I've been there. I've seen it.
You went to Israel?
Yeah, it was a wonderful trip. I learned a lot. It was super interesting.
What did you learn?
I learned a little bit how there are so many layers, right, of things to learn there. The 3 cultures that are there: the Christianity, the Jewish culture, the Muslims. I did see the military. I got a chance to see how the whole country had been transformed, as you say, right, through hard work, labor, and the technology on growth. I don't know how to say it in English. I know how to say it in Spanish, but with the water, with the use of
or
the use of water by drops, okay, so that you maximize the use of water for your crops, right? And it was super interesting from the historical and cultural perspective, definitely, at least Jerusalem and all those places. It was really interesting. It's a really good trip.
Is that an interest of yours at all, to find out how we can help with the water situation in California, and go to the legislature in California, speak to Governor Newsom, lead a group to Sacramento?
But how is it technically possible? Because you talk about the desalinization, right? How is that? What is the efficiency? I don't really know much, but if you could educate us.
I don't know either. That was not something I was studying. I was studying the art and history around the world, going to different countries 55 years ago with USF.
Oh, nice. Nice.
It was hard work. It was, it was not, it worked around the clock and got stuck over the Himalayas in Kathmandu, which is,
we were just stuck in Kathmandu.
you were before?
No, no, I've never been in Nepal, no, but why were you stuck in Kathmandu?
Kathmandu, and the Himalayas, the tallest mountains in the world, and the most treacherous, where more people have died going up there. So it rained the whole time, and we were stuck for a whole week in the Kathmandu because of this horrible rain. And then 10 years ago, I believe they had an earthquake there. All the roads, devastating. So it was the most, people lived in mud huts there, and we were at a farmhouse, which was the most luxurious place. And there they give up any animal, even though the poorest, to place on an altar as a religious ceremony. I saw that, and I was one of the only few that went out and trudged through the mud a little ways up the Himalayas, because I knew I'd never be back there, and this was once in a lifetime.
That is so awesome. Like, so awesome. I'm jealous.
An adventurous type. I'm adventurous.
I can see that. Ladies, would you like to share your experiences as well?
We'd love to hear from you. I'm sure.
Or Jen.
I'm sure you have some interesting, just your work that you do. Oh, how about the girl in the, there's a lavender around her, lavender color around her. Now a lady just came. Who is Jen?
Jen.
Jen. How about hearing from Jen?
Hi, I'm sorry. Oh, wait. That's not, I have to turn it on in the right spot. There we go.
Yep. Hi, I'm Jen. I apologize. I'm in and out and I had to run and help somebody for a few minutes. What am I saying?
Share if you heard from the women from Africa speaking on climate change.
Yeah, I did see that. That was really interesting. And getting the global perspective. I think it's important for us to help each other everywhere, and what they were talking about and how we can help lift each other up, I thought was really great, and how they were talking about what different solutions that they were coming up with, and what a large piece women have in that and in the story. I think it's a really large and nuanced problem that we're all in, but I definitely enjoyed hearing what they had to say about it, and had some small ways to do your part in making things better.
Jen, why don't you tell us what type of what is your occupation? How are you involved with WITI, and how many years?
Yeah, so my name is Jen Nelson. I work for the Roman Catholic Diocese of Portland, Maine. And I do a system administration and IT support for all of the parishes and Catholic schools that are in Maine. And I've only been a member of WITI for the last couple of months, and I've only been in my position for the last couple of months. So this is I've been working for the church for a small chunk of time, but now I finally have a budget where I can get professional development and tools like organizational memberships and stuff. And I was just really excited to join and talk with other women who do different things with technology.
That's good. Thank you, Jen.
Yes. Are you the only woman there?
So it's just me, and I work with a gentleman. There's just the two of us supporting the state of Maine. So there are only two of us total. There are certain parishes and schools do have other technology support systems. We're trying to help them come up with a more cohesive standard as far as technology goes. So, yeah.
Well, you're a pioneering type of person.
It's a unique situation, and it's, yeah, the school folks, because I come from I worked in one of our schools, and to come from the diocese, that's going to probably be my largest struggle, because it's been so many of parishes and schools are doing their own thing, and it's trying to get people to be more efficient, and we have more purchasing power too when we all collaborate and work together, and but a lot of people don't want to change. So
yes, that's what we always need to do, is open for change constantly, and that will keep our brain young and growing by constant change. And
everything is constantly changing. And I think when folks don't want to evolve and change, I think that is where we start to, languish. So.
Exactly. I think it's wonderful that you're involved with the Catholic, because I taught at the Catholic school in San Francisco, Schools of the Sacred Heart, and I taught actually Congresswoman Pelosi's girls poetry and literature, and did a slideshow took them to the Japanese tea garden and wrote haiku there and made a slideshow out of this for them. Then I also created a nutrition class to show them about growing vegetables, because this has been part of my life, and then taught in the boys' school. But the Catholic education has been small classes, and I love the Catholic education, even though I was brought up Lutheran and studied to become a minister, actually, about how many years ago? 65 years ago.
Oh, wow.
That was in Midland in Nebraska, next to Lincoln, next to Omaha, Nebraska.
Nice. I didn't realize I have one of my kids went through public schools all the way through, and then my younger kid I put into Catholic school when he went from 5th into 6th grade, and now my husband and I talk, and we regret not sending both of them pre-K to 12. So yeah, it's been a really good thing for us.
Wonderful. I was also involved in the Montessori schools about 53 years ago when Montessori was first brought to this country. And one of the things, I had my son in preschool Montessori, where we created a garden. And this was in the area of Belmont, California, which is San Mateo area. And that's the area that I live in. And so anyway, did gardening there and started actually gardening when I was 4 years of age back in Iowa, having a victory garden during the war. So that's one of my threads. And the Catholic is a wonderful, traditional, and you save so much on clothes, spending time on clothes. You wear a uniform.
Yes. My son does love his uniform.
So I think it's wonderful to hear from different women, so many different occupations. Now mainly I got my master's in technology, but it changes by the second. And now I have this challenge that I actually have lost I'm almost blind. Imagine I have that physical challenge. And I've worked more than 70 years.
Oh, wow.
And worked never harder than just before COVID when we closed the Jewish Community Center. I'm not Jewish, I'm Swedish, and I relate to every nationality in the world.
I've been doing a lot of thought about that kind of stuff recently, about the oneness of everybody and accepting all people and things. And it has been a profound time for me. I've been evolving and changing. You said you had written poetry and things like that. Do you know the poet Mary Oliver?
No, I'm not the expert in. I was then in haiku and had studied in Japan too when I went around the world. First learned about it in Japan, and actually we did the ceremony, the tea ceremony, and then we had haiku and had green tea. So to this day I drink green tea every day. And this is something to help in longevity. So green tea is wonderful. And then at the same time of teaching school, I worked 7 days a week. Okay. And so maybe we should go to the next session. Do you think? Thank you for sharing so
Thank
much.
you. But there are other sessions in place right now, right? That started at 9:30. Is that correct? So we can also go to that, right?
Yes, I think so. I don't know.
I think
Yeah,
so.
me neither.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll see you at the other sessions.
Thank you for all the sharing. It's wonderful to meet people from all over the
Absolutely
country and different parts of the world.
So cool.
Daniel? 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 Oh, okay, I'll come down. I'll come downstairs. Down there?
No, in your own neck of the woods. I told you, you should stop talking and let the other people talk. And I told you if nobody talks, end the conversation, go to it out of the room.
Oh.
Because that's what happened. Now, everybody hears everything you said here. You know?
the customers that we're coaching have a SWOT at least done annually. Okay, I would like to see it done at least 2 times a year, but at least 1 time a year is a must. When I say a SWOT, I'm talking about a SWOT on your career, not on your business department or what's the latest opportunity that's out there. I'm talking about for you. What are your strengths in your career path? What are your weaknesses? What are your opportunities and what are your threats? This type of analysis will help you plan which credentials are right for you, where you're at in your career. So for example, if we have a 5-year plan, which we should all have, right? And we know in 5 years, I want to be a security consultant. It becomes a little easier for me to reverse engineer my plan and know, okay, if I'm in year 1 and in year 5, I'd like to be a security consultant. And I know that that's possible because I've already done research. I've read the job descriptions and I know my industry. Then I would know in year 1, I want to add on CompTIA Security Plus. Year 2, I'm going to add on a Certified Ethical Hacker certification by EC Council. If I know in year 5, I need a master's degree to be a security consultant, well, then in year 3, I would need to start that degree, which means in year 2, I should be doing research. I should be applying for acceptance so that by year 5, my degree is wrapped up and I actually have my degree. This is when you do a 5-year, 7-year plan. This is to Cassandra's point that she was talking about. You'll know when you need to add on micro credentials. You'll know when you need to add on digital badges. You'll know where to plug in your skills if you have a 5-year plan. I always like to say, start with the end in mind, right? Where do you want to be down the line? Where are you today? And let's fill in the gaps on the skills that we need to get where we want to go. So when it comes to the different organizations or the different industries that are out there, really staying up to date is so important. And this is the key. People will say to me, how do you know so much about the different certifications and what certifications require experience? And like, how do you keep all this information in your head? And it is becoming difficult over again. I will absolutely admit that. But the answer is I read and I join a lot of different groups. So when I am in my LinkedIn, I am joining groups that I find beneficial, that feed me information. I read the newsletters. I sign up for the newsletters. I love joining, conferences like the one we're at today. There's so much valuable information. And I love to listen to others. And I love to hear about your careers, which is why I asked you all to drop your LinkedIn's in. I can't wait to look at them. I can't wait to learn about your career path and the path that you've taken to get to where you are today. And I'm really excited to see about where you'll be taking your career within the next 5 years. So with that, thank you so much. We have some resources today because I know today's conversation was a pretty fast conversation. I am going to open up for questions. Cassandra's going to drop in these resources that we've outlined for you to really kind of help with really figuring out what credentials are right for your career path. So we've tried to do some research for you, but that is no excuse for you not to do your own research as well. So thank you so much for your time. Again, I'm going to stop my share, open up for questions. I'm going to look in the chat in just a minute, but follow us on Facebook. We are Computer Coach on Facebook. You can follow me on Twitter. My handle is there. I'll drop my email in if you want to email me. You're more than welcome to. I'll drop my LinkedIn again in case any friends joined us after I dropped it in originally. I do run 2 meetups, which is the Tampa Bay Tech Career Advice and Career Success Academy. They are completely virtual at this point. They were in person in Tampa Bay, but now the entire world can join them. So if you are interested in some of the ongoing workshops that I teach free and open to the public, do join one of our meetups or follow us on Eventbrite. Okay. And if you have any questions, go ahead, feel free to come off of mute and ask the question while I'm just going to quickly go through the chat. All right, love to see all of those awesome resources in there. Cassandra, thank you so much for posting those. All right, does anybody have any questions? Want to talk about your career path?
I have a question. With regard to cloud fundamentals, how would you rank Azure to AWS to GCP? Which 1, 2, 3? How would you rank them?
Sure. Cassandra, you want to take that? Yeah. So as far as the vendors go, AWS would currently be considered the power player, with Azure following. However, you need to figure out if that is also true for the area that you live in. So for example, here in Tampa Bay, we are a heavy Microsoft community. There's a lot of organizations here that were founded back a long time ago, and they're running legacy products that require Microsoft. And so here in Tampa, it is actually more of a Azure friendly community, AWS being a close second.
Hey, are you able to
Also,
open
it's
session
important to keep in mind as far as
174 at
employers
10:40?
go, most of them have a hybrid environment where they're using
Can
multiple
you open
platforms,
session
because there still isn't one
174?
platform that just checks
It's at
all the boxes.
10:45,
So
and it's on the main Zoom account. It's the
right?
Ngazi
So one of the things we
breakout
talk
panel,
about is
soft
having
skills.
a targeted list of employees when you are, in your career management mode. And so
Yeah.
if you know which employers
Can
you're
I?
targeting,
Is Dave's pager still working? Oh, no. I'll figure. I'll text it to you.
and then decide which certifications make the most
Okay.
sense with that.
Thank you.
Donna's dropped in the chat that meaning utilities, she has found that Azure is most dominant, and I'm not surprised to hear that. But then there's a question. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, it tends to be the more conservative and regulated the sector, they tend to be more Microsoft environment, I find. So.
Yeah, and that could be, Microsoft was around for longer, had, it's hard for a lot of organizations to change their tech stack once they're really committed to it. Personally, the AWS Cloud Foundations or the Cloud Fundamentals is actually a credential that I'm personally working on. I have a screen on so you can't see my office, but I have my little collaboration table behind me with my little books and everything out there that I jump into every once in a while. But for no rhyme or reason, I just said, you know what, that's the credential I'd like to get this year. So Luz has asked for the VA, would AWS be more appropriate? I don't have the research on that. Cassandra, do you? I don't know, and I think it's also going to depend on where you're physically located. We do have a client here locally to the Tampa Bay area who is an Azure architect with the VA, but that's about the extent of my knowledge on their tech stack. I don't know if it's location specific, and I only know because we have a client that works there that he's on Azure, but I don't know. Virginia. Sorry. I was going to say that comes down to research because Virginia. You never know. Sorry, you get to. So we have a pretty big veterans presence. Yeah. Virginia. So Virginia has a huge. Funny enough, speaking about veterans, right? Depending on where you are in Virginia, there could potentially be a large DoD community. There's also a lot of organizations headquartered out of the state of Virginia. I would tell you that you probably should have a mixture of both. I haven't done the research, but just knowing the types of organizations that are in Virginia, you're probably best to have a mixture of both. AWS and Microsoft have done a really nice job at their associate level credentials of making them, I would say, easily attainable within a short amount of time. So I would focus on both. I'm just going to tag on to that because we say easily attainable within a short amount of time, but that is if you don't stop. And so when it comes to studying for micro credentials, if you're in an online course, if you're trying to get certified, the key is doing a little bit every day, because it's like the gym. When you don't do it one day, it's easy to not do it the next day. It's easy to not do it the day after that. So one of the keys I have found over the years to obtaining certifications personally and being able to coach others on the credentials that they want to obtain, it's about every day doing something, just a little bit. If you can commit to 30 minutes a day, then you'll have that credential before you know it. Yeah. So let's talk about Salesforce. That is one of the awesome areas out there, right? Salesforce has trailblazing badges available for everyone. They're trying to secure a position within the company. Would completing a couple of their badges be appropriate? So Salesforce also has certifications in addition to their badges. And Cassandra said earlier that most of the time you'll hear us talk, we talk about having, a list of employers that you want to work for. And so this particular conversation today isn't necessarily a career coaching conversation, but I do want to touch on that because that's really important. And this is going to answer the Salesforce question. Okay, so it is really important in tech careers that you understand, one, what are the different job titles that are available for your skill set? And I say that because tech has so many funky job titles in it, right? How many times have you seen somebody or met someone who does the same thing that you do, but they have like this crazy title that you're like, wow, I didn't realize that that was out there. So one, staying up to date with the different types of job titles that are obtainable for your skills is really important. And then knowing what are the companies in your industry or in your sector that you would want to work for. If you have a targeted list of employers, then it's so much easier to do the research on, should I just get Salesforce digital badging, going through the trailblazing, or should I actually go and obtain the certification? Because that question really isn't something that I can answer because it really depends on the organization. But what's important is that you understand in the Salesforce upskilling world, there is the trailblazing digital badges that you can do, and then there's also certifications. So what is needed for your career is what the research will answer. There are some Salesforce consulting companies that they do want you to have the certifications and not just the badges. And then there's others that just having the badges will be enough to get you in the door, but then within the first year, you'll be required to get, certified within so many different areas. Yeah, Salesforce, I have actually done some of the digital badges also through Salesforce. I also find them really interesting. And Salesforce has done an amazing job as far as implementing your training. So thanks for bringing that up. Okay. So Heidi's having a problem with the links, Cass. Okay, so there's the how to get onto Salesforce. What are our thoughts on making a change to a different title role? Our certification is one of the best ways to show you know your stuff. For example, going from quality assurance to data scientist. I personally, in my opinion, James would tell you yes, because here's the thing, in the tech world, if we have two individuals that have, equal experience, it's going to come down to interview and credentials, okay? Having a certification, and I live in this weird world where I spend half my day talking to hiring managers, to talent acquisition professionals, recruiters. I interview individuals on my podcast, Talent Acquisition Talks, which I'm actually going to rebrand. But then I spend the other half of my day talking to individuals who are looking to get into these roles, who are looking to obtain their defined career success. And I have never had a hiring manager or a recruiter or a talent acquisition professional tell me that credentials are not a good thing, okay? So one of the ways when you are switching careers, to the example that you have written out here, is adding on credentials. Well, one, make sure that you have skills that are needed, because a lot of times we may think, oh, as a data scientist, I'm going to need A, B, and C, but when we start doing the actual training and learning the skills that correlate with these different upskilling programs, whether it's a digital badge or a certification, we realize, wow, there's actually more to this than I realized. And that's one thing I hear a lot from individuals when it comes to certifications. It was a lot more than I realized, because remember, certifications validate that you should have the skills the way either the vendor or the association intends, right? So the vendor knows how they want their products used. The association generally does market research, takes surveys, has subject matter experts that are making these credentials to validate the job roles that the credentials support. And if you go back to my dad's advice, never have too many feathers in your cap. So you never know. I personally try to add on credentials every year. That's my personal goal. All right, so, oh, you know what? We are 1 minute past. I can't believe they didn't cut us off. I didn't realize that.
You can actually keep going for a couple of minutes. They're running a little behind on the keynote, but I'm going to put the link in chat. Good.
Okay, perfect.
If you want to wrap things up.
Okay, if anybody has any other questions, I'm happy to take them. I know we are backed up to the keynote, so I don't want anybody to miss that. Okay, well, if nobody has any other questions today, then thank you so much for coming out. The keynote is there. Please join the keynote. I hope you found today's information, useful for you. And if you do have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I've dropped my LinkedIn in chat. I've dropped, my email is also there. My email is fairly easy. It's Suzanne with a Z, 1 Z, 2 N's @computercoach.com. Don't hesitate to reach out to me. Again, I love to chat and I love to learn about what others in my network are doing with their careers, right? So thank you guys again for coming out and enjoy this amazing summit with so much awesome information.
On behalf of WITI, I really want to thank Suzanne and Cassandra for leading this. It has been eye-opening, great information. Thank you both so much.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us. Yeah. I can't wait to meet you all in person.
Yes.
Yes, I so want that to happen.
All right, everyone, go out, be great.
Recording stopped.
Doing?
Recording in progress. Emerging technologies to be. Again, we're just focusing in this particular instance on mobile and IoT, but you really could have used any set of technologies that worked for your particular organization. But for Schneider, I mean, mobile, it really allows you to have direct access to your customer. It can collect information about your customer. It allows you to see what they're doing and how they're using your product. And IoT, Internet of Things, and I very facetiously say Internet of Things is like sprinkling sensors all over everything. And again, purists will tromp on me for saying that. But for those of you who don't know what Internet of Things is, it's internet enabling a lot of different things. So for Schneider Electric, it would be air conditioning units and making buildings smart by putting sensors on floor vibration on the floors to get floor vibration, and how are these engines running in our heaters and all of that.